Hello, everyone. Okay, we are heading into our third module, and we are shifting our attention to our next writing project. But before I get into the third module, there's a couple things that I wanted to point out and address and mention. The first one is we have just gotten into this professional bio, or just submitted it and finished it up. Due to the nature of this course and the schedule and the accelerated rate in which we are traveling through these assignments, time does not allow that I give everyone feedback on their rough draft. I simply don't have time within the couple days that is between the rough draft and the final draft. But because of that, I want to make sure that you all remember my policy. If you go to the syllabus, let's jump right here to the syllabus. And if you go down, let's see if I can find it. Is right. Okay, right here. Writing for this class. Students who receive an 89% or lower on the first 3 major projects, the last one doesn't work just simply because the semester ends. Those people who receive that grade have the opportunity to revise and resubmit an improved project within 10 days of receiving their grade. So this isn't a requirement. It's just simply saying if you receive a B or lower and you would like to revise and resubmit, you have that option. Granted, recognize a B is still a great grade. Okay, going on. Interested students need to contact me and request a resubmission within 48 hours of receiving their project grade. Revisions resubmitted without prior approval will not be accepted. And that's more of a logistical issue. I will not receive, it takes me a little bit longer to locate resubmissions when people are doing it on their own, and it's really easy for me to lose control of submissions and grading and all of that. So I ask all students to contact me within 48 hours of receiving a grade if they want to revise and resubmit, and let me know that you're interested. It's not something that you have to jump through hoops or submit a whole proposal. I just want to know what to be looking for, okay? And you always have that option for a regrading. There is no penalty for doing that. I will simply regrade it if you want to do that. And I do that because revision is so important, such an important step in the writing process. So keep that in mind. So even if I don't send you feedback on your rough draft, this would be considered my feedback on a rough draft if you want to resubmit a following draft, okay? The next thing that I want to remind you all of is our project 4. So it doesn't come up in the modules until module 7, but y'all have to be working on this weeks ahead of module 7 to be able to get this completed in time. And so this is a very important networking activity, because networking is incredibly important. And if you will go down, make sure that you read over this assignment several times, but you are going to be asked to reach out through social media to a professional contact, and get some response, just network, introduce yourself, and, follow the directions. But you will need to do that. You will need to reach out to this professional. It says 10 days here. I would do it at least a couple weeks early, and I would do it for at least a few people that you have chosen, because you don't know, it's out of your control whether somebody is going to respond or not. So I would pick about 3 people and reach out to them. I would do it about right now to make sure you have time to hear back from them. And then you're going to, here's the deliverables for this assignment. You're going to document your process of reaching out and receiving a message, and then responding to them again with a thank you, and then a little memo of the experience, a little report of the experience, okay? Read this over, but I just want to remind you, this is not an assignment that you can wait until the last week or the last minute to accomplish. So keep that in mind, and I would start that right now. All right, so module 3. I will go ahead and stick this video right here, but this module, this next section, is all about professional correspondence and contacting and communicating to colleagues, to other associates, people through writing. And obviously that is incredibly important, but make sure that you read over this. And there's one thing that I wanted to mention here. So what this is going to be, we're going to be writing a couple of emails, and they're all centered on how do they word it? A refund or replacement request for a product or service. And one email is going to be, you are assuming the role of the client or customer asking for that replacement or reimbursement. Or you're also going to be, for the second one, you are going to assume the position of the customer service rep or the owner of the business who is denying that request. And those are two great examples because that demonstrates the importance of all of the decision making and the awareness that needs to go into effect, or that you need to actively engage with even before you put pen to paper, even before you start typing up that email. And so up here, and in the textbook, please read the textbook because you'll need that for this week. But it talks about developing a you attitude to gain sympathy for the audience, which I can appreciate. I like it all right, but I'm a scholar of rhetoric. And so I think that's a little misleading and can be a little bit confusing. The idea of the you attitude is not focusing your attention on you as the writer. It's actually focusing your attention on the audience, which that wording makes it a little tricky. And so what I like to do, and I just created a couple of slides right here to talk about the rhetorical situation. So just bear with me for a minute. Anytime we are in a writing situation where we need to contact someone, these are the things that we will need to consider. And central is, what is our purpose? What are we trying to gain? What is the goal? And I recommend, no matter what we are writing, that we state that. Even if we aren't writing, even just in life, if we have a purpose, if we have a goal, name that purpose, write it down, put it into words, make it concrete, put it on a sticky note, put it up on your monitor so you know what your purpose is, because it is really easy to go off on tangents and to share things that might be interesting, but they don't lead you to fulfilling your purpose or gaining your purpose. So name that purpose. And then the topic or issue is just the basic thing that you're talking about. Another thing you need to consider is the writer, you as the writer, okay? What are your needs? What are your goals? What are your biases? What is your experience? All of those kind of things need to be considered. Most important, other than purpose, I think, is the audience. Who is it that you are writing to? What do they know? What don't they know? What do they value? What are they expecting? Really important things to consider. So let me give you an example. We're going to be writing these two emails. Okay, so the first one, you are going to be writing it as the customer or client who is you're dissatisfied with a purchase and you're seeking an adjustment or a replacement. And so that you are seeking for that refund. That's your main goal. That's your main purpose. Okay, the purpose adjustment, that's just the topic. All right, but hold on. Let me try and make, there we go. I realized that my slide wasn't grabbing the video wasn't grabbing my whole slide. So the audience, okay? If you are writing for a reimbursement, you are writing to the company customer service rep who has the power to grant what you are seeking, okay? Who is that purpose? What do they value? What are they doing? What is the context in which they are living? What do they need to know from you? What don't they need to know from you? How can you cater your writing to that specific purpose, to that specific audience? Okay, because it's not a one-size-fits-all thing. You need to cater your language, your attitude, the tone, the information to that audience. And it's the same thing with the second rhetorical situation. So you're going to shift gears and you are going to write an email requesting or denying the request. So now you are the customer service rep or the owner of the company, and you have deemed it necessary to deny the request of this for a reimbursement for this purpose adjustment. Okay, understanding that your audience is the customer, the client who's dissatisfied, and you don't want to lose customers. You don't want to lose clients, right? How can you deny this purchase with that audience in mind and cater your language to that audience so that you can actually achieve your purpose without losing that customer. So this shows you that your attention needs not so much to be on you only, but on that audience. How do you adjust your language to that audience? Okay, and so what we're going to be doing here, where am I? Okay, for this business correspondent is writing those emails. Okay, so that's the main project that we're going to be working on, but there are some important things in here, and there's several examples. Look over those examples. I'm going to fly through them really quickly. There are 3 of them. Yes, look over these student examples to see if there's any moves that you can mirror or things that you can like be inspired by, because they're great examples. But also take the time to do the learning. You will need to read the chapter 6 and 9 from the textbook because we are going to be using things out of chapter 6. Look over these videos. They're really good, really important. And then that will prepare you for our first discussion board. And in this discussion, you're going to be turning to chapter 6, page 194 of our textbook. And we are going to be practicing catering our language to our audience. And through this discussion board, you are going to, if you go to this page and follow these instructions, they provide an example of an email. And these little outline markers like 6.2, 6.21, 6.25, they're simply different sentences of that email. And this discussion board asks you to identify what is wrong, based on the readings that you read and the information that you gained, identify what's wrong with the message and why, and then rewrite those sentences. And just those sentences, please do not rewrite the whole paragraph. You're just going to rewrite those sentences and you're going to post them. And then you're going to reply to at least 2 students' posts and compare revisions and their responses. Okay? And I think that's going to be really helpful. And then we have a quiz. And that's it for this week. I think, yep, I know I've talked a lot, but I think there's a lot to cover. So have a great week and let me know if you have any questions.